My sister and I pulled up into the large grey car park of the mother care superstore. She was 6 months pregnant and her perfect bump was now properly showing. She looked radiant. It was raining and cold, but not even the weather could dampen my excitement. Today we were going shopping for baby things. But instead of it being for her child, this time it was for me. It was for my baby, and I could hardly believe it was finally happening. My time had finally arrived, and I was going to embrace it with a capital E. This was the first time in a long while that I'd allowed myself to feel happy, to actually feel the joy. Yes, I felt trepidation at what was to come. After all, I was shopping for a toddler I'd never met. I knew I would always feel a slight pang that I wasn't there as a pregnant person, that I hadn't managed to grow a baby, but essentially I'd made my peace with it. I had done as much mental preparation as I could possibly do, and I was truly excited to take this next step into motherhood, my own unique way of mothering. So for now, I gave myself over to this moment. I took a deep breath and smiled. I deserved to enjoy this. My sister Victoria was beside herself too, so happy to finally be able to share in my joy. For what had seemed like an eternity, she'd listened to me as I cried at my failure to become a mother. She'd sat up late into the night with me and talked on the phone for hours, feeling frustrated that she couldn't do anything to make it better. It had been so hard to watch her fall pregnant for the 3rd time at the drop of a hat, and I remember storming out of her house when she told me her happy news, screaming at her about the unfairness of it all. It had taken a long time and a lot of soul-searching to adjust my frame of mind and be okay with doing things a different way. And through all of this, my sister had stood firmly beside me, holding my hand. All her own baby stuff had been bought and confidently put away in drawers after 2 textbook conceptions and pregnancies. But finally, here she was for me, and pregnant for a 3rd time herself. I had a list as long as my arm of things I needed, and although I had a budget, now I was here, I had a feeling that that was going to go straight out the window. We walked through the doors, into the heady bright lights and the warmth of the shop, and as my sister grabbed a trolley, I took in the scene around me. The place was full of women. There were a few men shuffling around, looking uncomfortable, but mainly all I could see were women in different phases of pregnancy, along with dozens of toddlers tearing around and babies wrapped snugly in their buggies. It was a shop full of hope and life. Nothing special to most of the people in it, but to me, it was heaven on earth. I had spent years leafing through baby catalogues for children's clothes, buying outfits in Baby Gap for the newborn babies of close friends, desperate for it to be my turn, always with my heart in my mouth and a tear threatening to escape. I felt I was doomed to always be the godmother. It had taken me so long to get here, years of hoping and praying, years of having sex at the right time and then being heartbroken when my period arrived, years of weeing on sticks, of having injections, of feeling like a failure when the blue line didn't magically appear. It had been a long, hard road of self-discovery, and yet, even though I was at the end, it still wasn't exactly as I had planned. Okay, I would never be full-bellied and blooming, but I knew I would eventually be all right. As I stood in that shop with my list, I was aware I had a long journey ahead of me. A different journey from all my friends and family, but a journey nonetheless, and it was mine. I was headed straight for the toddler aisles, shopping for a little girl I had not yet met, and one that I didn't know if I would get to keep. I took a deep breath and smiled. I was apprehensive and scared, but as I kept telling myself, this was my day and I was determined to make the most of it. It's very strange shopping for a child you don't know, though in many ways I suppose it's exactly the same as shopping for a newborn. You have no idea of its personality, and all you can do is pick the stuff that catches your eye. Here is a good time to say that I had never thought of myself as a girly girl. In my daydreams, my baby's nursery was white and clean with lots of different colours, but as I went to buy bedding and buggies, everything that caught my eye was pink. A pink changing mat, a pink and grey buggy, pink duvet set, pink cot bumpers, pink, pink, pink.